Welcome everybody to another Simon on the Sofa. And if you're new to these conversations, then I'm obviously Simon, and I show up and create beautiful, transparent conversations with people from all around the world. If you're a fellow Sofa community, I want to just do a quick, big thank you to some of you wonderful people that are also now so Patreon. And if you look at the link there in orange, you can head over to the Patreon page. And just for anybody that's curious, because you've been watching this show for a number of years, don't really like to call it a show, but following these conversations for a number of years, these conversations are all still accessible online on YouTube for you to enjoy. It's just for the people that are able to maybe give $1, $2, $3 for each video so that I can continue basically buying a little bit of equipment and just also just being infused to make the conversations even better. Like, for example, the next target I'm going for is to actually have a person with me that's actually booking in the conversations so that I can actually create a few more. So this one today, I want to introduce Mass. I'm not even going to say your second name. I'm a nightmare with names, so let's just say it's you give it to me. Welcome, Mass.
Hey Simon, how are you doing? Sajady, Mas Sajady.
Mass Sajady. And I just want to say to the people, this is a spontaneous call, okay?
Yes.
Kaylee, who contacted me a little while ago. She was doing some work with a guy that was written a book called The Reconnection, and his name was Eric Pearl. And we stayed in touch. She's always sent me beautiful emails. And she just started to really support Mass on his journey to spread his now gifts and message around the world. So what I want to do, Mass, I want to dive straight in. And one of the things I don't want to do, as much as we only have a short time, I know you're just about to head into the UK and Ireland and share what you're doing. But let's first of all, like in this moment, I know you do meditations. Maybe you even want to start with a meditation. What's alive in you in this moment? What's happening for you just right now? What's going on for you right this second? What's happening?
Right now, just hanging out, kind of actually with my abilities through the two near-death experiences, I can tap into you, Simon. I can tap into, say, your audience and kind of see what we need as, I say, a general theme. And, my conversations are never, say, dialogued or anything like that. Again, I grab the questions from whatever your audience needs. And since whether it's recorded or live, if they listen to the YouTubes like later on, it doesn't matter. Most of you will probably feel, say, those frequencies coming through the recordings, even as I work on you. I don't need to know anything about you to, say, help you transform in any area of your life, by the way.
Beautiful. Yeah, lovely. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So yeah, please, why don't we start with that? I always like to give people experience. So I've never met you before, you've never met me, we're here. You do what you need to do, or bring something to the call to me, and let's give people an experience. I'd love that.
Okay. Well, maybe we could do a quick like 5-minute meditation, or I call it a meta healing. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right, sounds good. Let's go ahead and get started. Again, I don't have let me grab a timer. I don't want to go I lose track of time. Anyway, so it's 11:16. All right, so it'll take about 5 minutes, guys. Whether you want to sit, stand, lie down, I prefer you to stand up, because that's the way I was drawn into it after my near death. But Simon, you can sit down. But if you can physically stand up, highly recommend it. Let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. Sitting, standing, lying down, whatever is good for you. Just kind of note where you are. Notice your environment. Notice your surroundings. Notice my voice. Whether you've meditated before or not, doesn't matter either. I can usually guide you into those deeper states pretty quickly. Breath in again, whether your eyes are open, closed. Note. Just noticing all the other people, say, on the call, who might be listening on the call, who might be listening on the call later on. Tapping into their frequencies. There's always strength in numbers. It's good to run with the crowd if they're going the right direction. There we we go. Breath in again, beautifully deep. Holding it for a second or two. And then exhaling, slowly letting go, asking ourselves, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? Get that question, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? Whether you know it or not, doesn't matter. Keep asking. It'll get clearer and clearer for you. It's a very, very simple process. I guide you into a nice deep state by helping you notice your body complete. For example, your nose, your eyes, your forehead, the eyebrows, right? Relaxing the jaws, the jawbone, wrapping around into your ears, your head. Again, all you have to do is just notice. Notice your body getting you deeper, deeper into those relaxing states. And then on the back end, or your core level, or your spirit, I'll help you reprogram anything that you might need to help you transform any area of your life. Much easier, much faster. Breath in again. Again on the exhale, through the neck, throat, the shoulders, the upper chest, from your torso on up. Really becoming familiar, becoming aware. Again, as I generate those frequencies, I help you transform. Let's go even deeper, just because we can, by inhaling nice and deep, holding it, and releasing, letting go. The mid-chest, lower, right into the hips, the butt, the tailbone. Let's just see if we can adjust some spines for you. Whether you have headaches, again, physical issues. Yeah, there we go. Don't have to touch you to adjust your spine. Again, if you don't have issues of the spine, it'd be like a massage for you. But if you do, just helping you realign it. There we go. Notable breath in. Right through the groin, right into the legs. Just noticing your body complete, head to foot. There we go. as we come back into the present moment this time. Noticing your feet, your hips, your hands, your shoulders, your head. Back into your eyes as we open them whenever you're ready. Coming back into this moment in time. There we go. How are you feeling, Simon?
So I do a little bit of meditation, so it's always nice to just take a moment to drop in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't feel anything necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
physical,
Right.
but I'd love to know what you picked up, or if you felt anything, or what you may have. I know you was doing it as a sort of universal to anybody listening, but what
Yes.
happened for you?
For me, it's just kind of tapping into the group again, just helping you guys understand or open up that you're, say, a grander individual than who you are. Uh, because we think that we're an accumulation of the experiences that we've had here. A lot of people, you're more, say, on on board. So Simon, you necessarily might not say feel things right away, but your awareness of say what happens later on, it'll be a lot brighter for you because you're more in tune. Does that make sense? You'll see things from a different perspective, although you'll be in the same environment. People who are a little darker, people who have, say, issues, people who are, well, a lot of pain, I guess, in their lives, they'll start to see, say, some sort of transformation or an awareness of what's holding them back.
And you mean based on what you just did, that's the potential of what could happen after what you just feel
Yes,
that you transmitted, yeah?
yes, exactly. Just statistically, because I've worked on tens of thousands of people, even in these smaller, shorter meditations, 5 minutes or so, about 30, 40% will start to say, just kind of, well, like you, kind of see things brighter or a little different. The other 30, 40%, they actually feel, say, like the physical changes. They'll feel something. Their headache might disappear. They'll get like an adjustment or something like that happening for them.
And
It's
in
quite
terms of
amazing.
like, yeah, and in terms of, so this is like distant, what some might call distant healing, right? You're doing like, you're
Sure.
also working, you're wanting to work on like a distant healing, or you don't, like you said, you don't have to know the people, or you know what they're doing.
Right.
So what are you? Yeah, so you're not like sight, and I know you put on your bio that you don't know how to describe yourself, and you're just doing this energy, and you had two near-death experiences, and then you just had this
Sure.
ability, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it took me about 3 years to figure it out, though. So,
yeah. So
uh, yeah.
in terms of the practice that
Hmm.
you're now doing,
Right.
how do you receive it? What do you see? What do you feel in your body,
Okay.
and so on, when you're sending out an energy to others?
Frequency. Sure. So, what happens, or the way our body is created, is that about arm's length all the way around us. I see, say, your spirit. Okay, it's not out. It's not auras. It's not chakras. It's not the energy systems of the body. It really is, say, your spirit, or say what creates you. Kind of like a movie projector. Okay, imagine that spirit being a movie projector. I see your body as a hologram. So our body isn't, say, as solid, just like anything else here. It's not really as solid. It's really created of, say, frequencies that we see as, say, an image. Um, so I've been given that ability to, say, edit you at your spirit level or that projector. So what I do is fine tune or put you in focus. And if you look at some YouTube videos and so on, as I work on individuals, they start to flop around or so on like that. That's kind of getting in and out of focus, until you get that fine focus. So that's what's happening. So I awaken your spirit, and that's why I don't need to know necessarily anything that's wrong with you or what's wrong with you to really help you transform. Okay, it's really about say awakening your spirit the same way I got awakened. Right, I had a near-death experience that awakened me to connect. I call it pure source, um, to a much higher level, and I bring that about into you. I bring that connection to pure source without you having that, say, near-death experience. Um, so,
And in
did that
terms,
did that make sense?
It doesn't make sense. It probably no. It's funny because it's like that dance between some people watching this. It will make sense to them. Some
Hmm.
people watching it, they will be like, okay, what is one is like why? How can somebody go into? Because it's always the how, right? The mind comes and it says
Sure.
how can somebody just go into somebody else's body, and also if they don't want it and start messing around with their spirit or giving them some
Right.
sort of alignment or awakening, etc., etc. So I'm
Okay.
sure you have the
Oh,
skeptics
of
and
course. Of course.
constantly asking these
Yeah.
questions.
The question or that thing about, say, asking permission, it's really at spirit level. Most of us aren't really aware at physical level, what we're doing. Those individuals who think, oh, I need permission or I need this, they have, say, a little more control. They think that, what they're thinking about or what they're going to do next is really controlled in the physical realm.
Wait a minute,
It's not.
sorry, Max, you dropped out there. Just
Oh,
go back a sentence.
okay. Are we on now?
It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, most people think that what they're doing here in the physical form, right? What they're thinking about, what they're going to do next, is really, say, the make or break of how their life is, say, going to evolve. It's really not true. Not true at all. There's underlying programs that dictate how you think about things, how you see things, how you view the world, all that. That's pre-programmed way before you were born through family lineage or what I call spiritual DNA that creates, say, the life structure or even the way you think, even what you get attracted to already. What I do is like open you up to a much higher level so you can, say, edit the programs that are already running in you.
Right. So
Um,
that
yeah,
makes more sense. So what you're dealing with is you're saying, and when I say that makes more sense, what I mean, because I like to break
sure.
it down from a place of, when I'm
Hmm.
talking about subconscious programming, or we're talking about programming of our
Right.
DNA or our blueprint based on our belief systems that have come into us, like you said, way before us, from ancestral
Yes.
lineage, right? So when
Right.
when when one of the sentences you use is change your frequency, change your life.
Yes.
Caroline Miss talks about this. I know there's a guy you might know of called Adam Dream Healer, and a number of other people
Hmm.
talk about going into this sort of beyond the physical, right, to reprogram the
Oh, of
structure. So
course.
you're
Hmm.
talking about the sort of, you call it the holographic experience of the human
Right.
being, right?
Right. Or the frequency is actually the spirit that actually creates the physical form here.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Go on.
and that's at there's no space time at that level. And that's why I can say change you. I can work on people over the phone, over Skype. I don't need to see them. Actually, some of my best testimonials or transformations are people who are addicted to drugs and so on. Obviously, they're not going to come and go, "Hey, Moss, heal me." But usually, their loved ones come up, and go, "Hey, I have a son or spouse or whoever who's on drugs. Can you help them?" So I work on them through, say, their loved ones, and they transform.
But you have a photograph, or you just do that just
Oh
straight from
no,
them telling
no, I
you?
can tap into them and see what's going on with them. I can pretty much tap into anybody.
So, and
For
in
example,
terms of, and
you.
it's,
I'm
go
sorry.
on,
Go
go
ahead.
on. No, carry on, carry on.
Oh, I was going to say, for example, you've got a lot of, I don't know, are you close to your mother or there's just something with your mom that I see? You know what I mean?
Go on. Keep
It's
going,
not
keep
like
going.
it's not like you're entangled, but you two are like really close friends or something like that. And it's lifetime after lifetime that you've been that way. So I don't see you, say, as, mother-son type a relationship. It's deeper than that. It's really a nice relationship from what I'm seeing. But it doesn't say help you. And again, it's a great. I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that. But um, let's kind of redefine it a little bit because say you guys are great together, but when you're not holding on, I wouldn't say holding on. Let's see, what's the word? If you're intact, well, you know how two electromagnetic beings, we're electromagnetic beings or components, when they come together, they create, say, static, right? Although they're good for each other,
Yeah.
right? So that's what kind of happens with you and your mom. If we can say separate the two of you,
Yeah.
and I can do that for you, then that bond or connection is actually gets stronger for you two, and then you two help each other out, go higher and higher, rather than say pulling each other down just a bit. Again, you guys have kind of got it, so there's not much really to edit there. But there's a lot of relationships that they're bound together, love relationships, for example, right?
Yeah.
What do? We have, say, relationships that aren't complete. We're not complete, so we attach onto that other person, right? That tries to make us complete, and then we get destroyed
Okay.
later on, right?
Yeah.
So it's a similar pattern to that, but again, you're on the other side where you guys like grow and expand from it. So,
Yeah. So
uh,
so tell me, so what you feel within, so what do you need to do? So if you feel that with me and my mother,
yes,
what do you need to do in order to, um you're saying there's friction, and you're saying you
right,
can go in and do something with me and my mother energetically
yes,
to detach
sure,
that friction.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've been working on
Okay.
you actually as I've been speaking because that's just, I mean, it's just that's what I do. That's just part of what I do. It's really I don't have to say instigate anything. I've done it say so many times because I work on thousands of people. It's just kind of a natural. So let me just help you pull apart. And if your eyes were open, you might have seen me say, move my hands a bit. It's not that I'm moving energy or anything like that. It's a higher level programming. I was a computer programmer, by the way. Uh, so I come from a very different perspective. It's all really programming for individuals. It's not about love or all those feelings that we have. Those are the byproducts of again our energy or frequency systems. There we go. And again, Simon, you might not feel it. You tend to feel things because you want to integrate things because that's just the way you are. You want to understand them at a deeper level before you allow them into yourself. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
so what happens for you is that the frequencies that I create now, just because that's the way your rule set is, okay, um, is that you integrate it at a spirit level. Okay, it's higher than your subconscious, and then in a few, what I'm seeing, maybe 3, 4, 5 hours later on today, basically, you'll start to have this awareness kind of like melt over you, and your mother might actually uh, call or connect because that she will feel that say disconnect. She seems like you're kind of you're an anchor for him, for her. Uh, there we go.
And you're
See,
saying and you're saying you're going to disconnect that anchor, or what are you doing there?
yes, yeah. So what happens is that, um, well, you start to say split apart, physically. You'll be more independent of each other, uh, and then well, obviously emotionally and spiritually. But then you guys will grow stronger alone, and then when you come back together, it's a more solid, more complete relationship where you go up. I'll just work on her shoulder as well. Her right shoulder area just seems to be, I don't know, bugging her. I don't know if she has, yeah, she's got issues there. From what I'm seeing, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, you can ask her later. But yeah, her whole, yeah, upper shoulder, neck area, it's like this quadrant is not really, uh, it's just a little distorted. So when I see you, or when I can tap into your mom because, well, you're connected, it's kind of like a network of servers, right? Or computers. One computer is connected to the other computer is connected to the other computer. I mean, to connect with you, we probably go through like maybe 20, 30 servers, right? To get to connect. So I connect with you, your mom, I can tap into your mom through, say, you. So you're that server that, um, yeah. And that's how I can say see the issues or the patterns of your mom. So whether you're in front of me or not, I just see like patterns or frequencies, as I call them. Very
And
good.
a question,
Sure.
if you, so what else do you see in me, or that you can feel maybe on the physical, or you know anything around what I might be experiencing? Is there anything? Just
Uh,
because with my mum, I don't know, but I can relate, I can feedback for the people watching if there's something.
sure.
It's not like a, you know, you're not on the spot, but I know you don't mind being on the
Oh, no,
spot.
no, no, I don't mind being on the spot, not at all. Because I do this live. In fact, that's what I'll be doing in the UK and Ireland. I'll just be working on people live. So, what else do I see in you physically? Seems like you're pretty healthy. Your bone structure, again, physical details, is more, say, apparent. Your bone structure more of and I think that's where, you and your mom are kind of similar. You have that thinner, say, bone structure. So as you guys age, for example, your hips and so on, might get, your bones tend to get, say, harder, but a little more brittle in your family, if that makes sense for you. So as you age, you might have issues, say, walking and so on. Like that, because that's what probably happens. It doesn't have to happen that way, though. Those are just what we call hereditary. But those are the patterns, right? Or the frequencies that we've copied over, much like anything else, your finances, your relationship patterns, all that, somehow we've copied it or, we've brought it about. But we can work on that. Issues in the hip area for you, um, and it might not be, say, physical. Okay. It might be, say, more emotional, really, say, trying to understand yourself at a much complete, complete level for you. Proving yourself, yeah. As a young child, in your teens, kind of like always trying to prove yourself, from what I'm seeing. It's still kind of there, always trying to prove yourself, which is okay, but uh, no matter, say, how good you get. And this is, I worked with this, she's this, I don't know, he's worth a couple $100 million. I was working on him, and he's always trying to, say, prove himself. Very successful, one of the most successful lawyers in the U.S. And he doesn't feel good enough. You know,
Uh-huh.
his issue goes way back. His father not connecting with him and so on like that. But very successful. Again, one of the best lawyers in the U.S. He doesn't feel good enough, right? Because he's always, say, trying to prove himself. It doesn't work out.
You mean
So,
prove himself to himself?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
You mean prove himself to himself, or prove himself
Prove
to
himself
others?
to himself. Yeah, because and to others. He never feels like he's good enough. You know what I mean? Because he was never, say, good enough in his father's eyes. That pattern, is just like suppressed in him. So that's how he sees his life. Very nice looking guy. The perfect bachelor, and that's another thing for him. Relationships don't work out all the way because, again, he doesn't think he's good enough, right, to get that perfect person for him. So he
Yeah,
takes, say, abusive type women that get
yeah.
attracted to him. So,
But is that what you're saying? Are you seeing that on me, that I don't
oh,
think
no, no,
I'm
no,
good
no,
enough, or that
no.
are
You
you
always
saying?
have to like prove yourself, or you're kind of like that feisty. What are those feisty dogs that are always trying to like prove their
I lost you
ground?
there. Sorry, Mass. Sorry, Mass. You
Oh,
dropped out.
sorry.
Just say that last bit. You said go back.
Yeah, you're kind of like those feisty dogs. You know what I mean? That are trying to, say, always protect their space around them. Does that make sense for you?
The feisty dog that's always trying
Those
to,
little dogs. You know what I mean?
like a little Jack Terrier.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're always yeah,
I
they're
think
always
I
like
can,
trying to
yeah,
protect.
I mean, I can relate to
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I can relate to maybe that I'm always, in my life, yeah, tried to either prove myself, or be hard on myself, be better,
Hmm.
try to be better. And
Yes.
also, I mean, I think everybody has had the program of unworthiness and I'm not enough, the core
Right.
unworthiness and the story of imperfection in them. So, I
Hmm.
mean, that's work that I very much look at. So yeah, I had the program of core
Right.
unworthiness and story of imperfection, and obviously there's some elements of that probably still in me that I work on a day to day basis.
Sure. So, and again, you're more awakened, say, than most individuals. So you're good. But even that, you'll see, say, that expansiveness. And then you really don't have to say, prove yourself. What'll happen is that you'll be more here. You'll be more present. And then that's where you get to, say, really be like, say, an expert or master, the space around you or your life. Uh, does that make sense? And then when you're at that level, or when it'll actually happen rapidly for you within the next few months, you'll see things start to, say, attract into you, the people, the places, the things that'll, like, say, enhance you even more, much faster, much easier than always, say, trying to prove yourself. And always trying to prove yourself, improve yourself. That's a fantastic, again, pattern to have. But if you're always perpetuating on the extreme side, like that lawyer friend I gave you, right? That was the extreme side of, say, that pattern. But the pattern is that, again, no matter how good you get, Simon, you're always in that in that mode, right? This way, you've arrived, but you'll you'll absorb anything that you need to keep, say, enhancing or perpetuating you.
So
If
you're
that makes
talking,
sense.
yeah, you're talking more from creating from being as opposed to trying
Yes.
to try to be more to get more.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't work. Again, I work on, multimillionaires. I work on the average person and so on. They have the same issues. People think that, if I had X amount of money, I'll be good. Or, if I had the perfect spouse, I'll be good. Or if I had the perfect job, I'll be good. Those patterns always run. They always say, never have enough money. Even, the billionaires, right? They're always wanting more money, right? So
yeah, because
again, those patterns just don't exist.
yeah, that's a good point you bring up. But also, I hate that dialogue of, I say hate, but I just
Mhm.
picking up the dialogue there. Like we say, for example, the millionaire or the billionaire, then the average person. But I know this is in terms of
Yes.
money. But you see how
Yes.
I hate that. I don't like the word hate, but I really don't resonate with that
Mhm.
terminology because, and it's not. It means that often people think, and I know you do this 360 abundance, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
we often think that abundance is just to do with money, and that if you've got money,
Exactly.
all of a sudden you're somehow, enlightened, all sorted, you're
Exactly.
balanced, aligned, and so on. And for me, I
Right.
just think that's hogwash because also, if 5% of the population earn 95% of the wealth, the
True.
idea of financial abundance is not even possible, or that's how I
Mhm.
perceive it.
True. And like you said, this is about 360 degrees of abundance. Again, having, billions of dollars, those people aren't happy. Again, everything gets, say, magnified, and then we can talk about, say, how they became so wealthy, or how became so powerful. Maybe a lot of them, from what I see, so I mean, they literally sold their souls to the devil, or what I call their spirit to the devil. So they're bound by and I see contracts. On the other side, people, sign contracts, or their family signs contracts. So again, they're not happy with that money. Like you said, the 360 degrees of abundance that I call it, you naturally are, say, abundant in any arena of your life. And that's what I bring in for you, because that's your natural state of being. It's not like I bring that in for you. So let me just correct that. I just take away the baggage that has distorted you, kind of polish you up, and then you get to see the true beauty, the true grace, and the abundance that you are. Because any lack that we feel in this physical form is not normal for us. At a spirit level, we're totally complete. I've seen that. I've seen that actually a few times, twice, physically, because I had two near-death experiences. On the other side, you are completely abundant.
And
Again, I take out the baggage.
yeah, you're taking out the limiting beliefs, you're taking out the baggage.
Yes.
When you say on the other side, yeah, this
Hmm.
idea, like, because one of the things that comes up in this whole spiritual realm, and
Hmm.
one of the when I watched uh, I only watched a couple of your videos, and I saw that
Sure.
Kaylee sent me over your bio, and I read that and so on, and I looked at a few of
Hmm.
the videos, yeah, and then, like, so what happens, and I love you know, there's that dance between, you know, everyone's becoming a healer in the spiritual world, right? So everyone's becoming a healer, and then it's profitable to be a healer, and then love has become marketable, right? So we're just going to play with this for a bit. So you know, people come to pay for healing, and then you get the people that are lost in their own sort of denial and just constantly go to healers, and
yes,
you know,
actually push those people away.
Yeah, don't realize that actually the healing is being done by themselves anyway, right? They just constantly want someone else to do it. And then also one of the things was like, because I had this connection with Kaylee, I wanted to speak to you, and you know me, and this is a transparent show, so I'd love to be transparent with where I was with you initially.
Oh, of course, I love it.
And I watched the morning show you was on, and I could see that this guy was talking about meditation, and you was there, and I sort of looked at your energy, and I thought, you know, you looked calm, but I don't know, there was this sort of sense that, you know, you are becoming, you get these talents, or you get this skill, you can tap into something, you become like a healer, whatever you want to call it. I know you don't name yourself as a healer, but you become, you have this skill, this talent, just like anyway, just like as a computer programmer, just as anything, you've got this skill and talent. And then you got to go out there. You have to have a website built, some photographs. I do this myself, right? You know, you have website built, photographs, and then people want to interview you and talk about you, and you do shows, and you need to get people to your shows, right? This is the dance that I'm in.
Sure.
And you're in. And then I just had this sense that some of what was being shared to sort of market you, which I don't like the term market you, but that's what it is. Like, you become a product because you've had these 2 near-death experiences, and you can do some special talent for someone. And it just felt a little bit, you know, commercial and marketed. Yet when I saw you sat there in one of those videos, I thought there's this sort of purity coming through you, and this natural thing that's happened, which you're very humble with. And then alongside that, it's like being put into this arena where you don't actually have to do that, because you're saying you can just heal people, touch people, not touch people, and do this work. So you could just do it anonymously, right? So I'd love to hear your view. I'd love to hear your views on what really has, you know, come up from you having to then become commercial, if you will. How does that sound?
Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not a really good promoter of myself. That's why I have, you know, other people promote me. I'm very, you know, the more I got into this work, and this is, I just don't promote myself. Really, you know, my work stands on its own, really. In fact, that's how we've grown so far. So, you know, this new arena, because I'm getting at, say, a perpetual point, a pivotal point, right? Where, you know, say the masses, I forgot what that's called in marketing. Anyway, it's a tipping point. Exact. So now I'm getting, I used to do a lot of interviews. Now I'm getting more and more interviews, TV interviews, and so on like that. So it's very, very new for me. And I was the shyest kid, Simon, when I was growing up. You know, I just kind of do what I do. I don't speak much. I'm not, you know, this voice, talker or anything like that. If I have something to say, I'll say it. Usually I'm just that quiet, you know, I don't want to say shy, but that quiet, reserved type person. I can see what's going on. So you're right. There's that internal me that is, of completeness, and then that is that part of me. Well, because you have to promote or do, because that's why I'm on the show, right? So that aspect, yes, it is very different for me. How
do you feel with that, based on, because, like, you know, when you have like a talent or you have a gift, you know, I have this thing sometimes, Master, where, you know, this not coming from that everything should be free and so on and so on. I'm not coming from that place, but, you know, like when we're playing with love and we're tapping into like this field of consciousness, this higher intelligence, you know, the realm of like where, you know, just the realm of that you can do something that supposedly others can't. Although I know you are you're saying people can do this, but, you know, of course, there's so many people that go, well, I can do this. And then what happens, there becomes this sort of hierarchy or pedestal, then I need mass needs to do it for me, and like mass is the mass is the enlightened one, mass is the, you know, the new this, you know. And I'd love you just to speak to that, and like how you feel around that when people maybe put you in that space, or what you had to deal with that.
Well, for those individuals, actually, we push them away. For those who get, say, actually, we did this thing called divine atrocity on exactly what you're talking about. Where healers or gurus and so on, even church leaders or other spiritual leaders and so on, right? They start getting control. They get control in their heads, and they go, "Well, you can't do." Uh, you can only do things through me because I'm that leader. I'm not that way, actually. It's the other way around. It's like I give you the tools, whatever you need, the awakening inside. The same component that brought me together in my near-death experience, right? Because that's what happened. I connected to pure source much, much stronger. In fact, I do that for you, and that's really all you really need to do is bring that, say, openness or light that flame underneath you that we forgot about. And then you naturally get, say, attracted to people, places, things, remedies, whatever it is that you need, say, to connect. For me, there was a couple like underlying themes or questions in your, say, comment. So as far as money, we can talk about money, but, you know, like exchanging money for healing, or is that what you're talking about? Or I guess
Yeah,
we could get
yeah,
into that.
yeah. That what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
what I mean is like just more. Not that you shouldn't make money or any healer shouldn't
Of
make
course.
money because we still use money and so on. But they're
Sure.
just that sense of that. Along the way with the spiritual realm, and I'm going to call it that because I know it's let's call it the commercial spiritual realm, right? Just for
Sure.
conversation purposes. Yeah, is
Oh,
that
of course.
that basically there's this sense that we people want to help people, right? And of
Of course.
course, we need tools to do that and so on. And then
Of course.
there comes this. I suppose it's just this. What I'm trying to see beyond, because I'm just, as I told you at the beginning, I'm a seeker of truth. I'm trying to see beyond the superficial. Like at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I don't want to get caught up in that. But what I'd love to know from you or hear from you for the
Hmm.
people from the Sofa community is like just the why, the why that drives you, because the money sometimes is just energy. We know that, but the energy,
Of course.
depending on the people around money and what they do with it,
Right.
that can end up becoming the drive, right? And I'm not saying
Right.
that is for you, but I'd love to know
No.
your why, right? You want to enliven people. You had these near-death experiences. You now want to give the gift of, maybe awakening people to see that they are a miracle, right? A phenomenon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah. So there.
so talk a bit to that.
Okay. There's a couple points. There's always, say, transitionary periods in time, right? And there's always been, say, people or harbingers, say, that open up that door for that transitionary time. From what I've seen in my own self, in my own life, and then from what other people tell me, other, say, high level intuitive psychics and so on like that, and what I've come down, or the knowledge, that universal database, as I connect to. I am one of those pioneers that are ushering in a new era. Okay. So it's really not about the money. In fact, when I came into this, I had no idea I was going to be, say, a healer, so to speak, or a transformational agent. Um, so at that level, a whole new paradigm Simon is coming in. Back in the olden days, we had money, we had, say, knowledge, intelligence, healing abilities, and so on, and that was used as a separator for people, right? They were there. They were a higher class, no matter who you were, and then there was the lower class, the other people, right? In this new paradigm that's coming in, and that's why I say money. um, I'm here to show that you can have, say, money and lots of it, and you can still be good. It's not going to drive you away from spirituality. Those are just, say, the physical notions, and a lot of people are stuck with it. If, like, well, if his gifts are from, say, God, or what I call pure source, then why does he need money? Well, because we're human, we need money, and that actually locks people who think in that frame, right?
I lost you, Mass.
That
Mass, go
Oh,
back. Sorry to stop your flow. Just go back a little bit.
okay. Well, let's just go back for those individuals who think that, well, if his abilities come from pure source, right, or God. right? Well, why does he need money? Right? It should be free and so on like that. That's actually a distortion in those individuals who think that way. In fact, money is such, say, a distortive pattern for you. You think that other people making money is going to destroy you. But, if you really look at those people, and I'll just work on those people as I talk, okay? Um, just to help you, say, understand that money factor more. Those same individuals, what do? They prostitute themselves on a menial job, making menial money, right? To, say, live just a menial life. What good is that? Is that what you're really here for, right? If you really, say, hated money, well, go live on an island where you create your own food, you create your own life, you create your own abundance without, say, the physical need of money. But if you're going to be here, like, say, in the society's term, because you're here to play that game with money, that's why you came down, say, in this realm, might as well do it good.
I
Okay?
think
And that's what I'm
you've
here to
just
show.
gone. Yeah, go on. You're just here to show me. I think you've gone into source code on this screen.
Yes.
The whole screen has just gone completely source code.
Oh, really?
It's gone. It's
Well,
gone.
that's
It's gone rainbow color, blue, yellow, red, the whole shebang.
yeah, maybe sometimes that happens. I distort things. Yeah, sorry.
You might need to.
Um,
You might
do you want to call back?
basically. There you go.
Am I back?
No, you came back. That was quite amusing because I want to just say just so you know what I was pointing to. I mean, I thank you for that
Mhm.
making that distinction and then becoming source code.
Yes.
But listen, what I was pointing to is I guess what I see sometimes, and I know there's a transition, right? You said, we're moving into a different time. So one of the ways
Yes.
that I do, one of the way I exchange and do what I do, and obviously sometimes we get attached thinking everyone has to do it the same. But from my
Hmm.
perspective, is I do what is called the gift, and the gift is
Hmm.
that when we work from a place of the gift economy, and we get people to start to
Sure.
realize the value of themselves in terms
Yes.
of the gifts that they have, not just financial gift, right?
Yes.
But just as a
Yes.
gift. So for example, with one of my retreats, I do cost share, where everybody, no matter your financial
Hmm.
ability or whatever money you have, everybody splits that equally. So that creates no hierarchy in somebody's paying more or less. And
Sure.
then we give our gifts. Me and my partner give our gifts, meaning that we give them the whole experience. And then
Hmm.
at the end, we allow them to gift back whatever they feel from their heart that they want to give. And
Sure.
that doesn't have to come back just as a financial
Hmm.
offering, right? It can be time, energy, gifting forward. It could be basically the gifts are exponential. And also,
Right.
when we get out of the way of linear thinking of how we should and shouldn't receive, then when we
Right.
truly step into what it means to give unconditionally, then from
Hmm.
that place we receive tenfold, right? Abundantly. This for me is tapping into the abundance. So I just want to
Of
say the reason why I'm saying this to you, not that you should do that or other healers should do that,
course.
but what I notice in this realm is that
Hmm.
the old way, let's just call it the old way of exchanging money, which is
Sure.
very much not making money exchange sacred, but coming from a place of ownership
True.
and separation.
Yes. Hmm.
As we move in exchange, more importantly, gift exchange more sacred, as beautiful Charles Eisenstein described this so well in his book Sacred Economics, and the more beautiful way our hearts know is possible.
Hmm.
What starts to happen is we start to value, like what you said earlier, the miraculous nature and individual talents, gifts, and full abundance of
Yes.
that energy source that is right,
Right.
right in at the moment. You're in front of me, I'm in front of you. So there becomes
Right.
this real purity and exchange. Is this resonating?
It does. It does resonate. It's really, say, like an older version of what's coming into, say, play. Okay. And let me just explain. You kind of touched upon it about, say, the sacred exchange, right? And what's happening is that a lot of us is, say, is really focused on, say, the exchange of goods, money, right? Even in your say identification of money, you put actually money on a different scale than anything else that's available to us. I mean, we need
Exactly.
air and so on like that. It doesn't have to be that way, and that's again, this paradigm that's coming in is very, very different. Anything that we need here physically, Simon, is less than 1% that makes us whole. Okay, the other 99% that is really, really important, uh, we don't even pay attention to. So, exchanging money, or I mean, because we do a lot of free sessions, we do, podcasts, we do again a lot of free events and so on like that, to kind of even out to help people who don't have the money at the time. It's not a big deal, but in reality, or what's happening, or that transformation that's coming into, is that the physicalness of this world shouldn't be based on, say, what happens at a spirit level. And just to clarify that for you, again, most of
I
us
lost.
deem what's, oh,
Wait there.
are
You
we
wait there.
good?
Go back. Go. Sorry, Mass. No, no.
Okay.
We froze there. Go back.
Okay.
Go back a sentence.
Okay. So the physicalness that we say um, create our life, right? Our life direction is really based at a physical level, including the money aspect, including abundance aspect. Okay, not just money, but say the finer things in life. Let's put it that way, right? Because that's what we're talking about. The luxury cars, jewelry, whatever is good for you, right? It doesn't matter. And we can get into more detail on that. But the new paradigm, say, that I'm bringing in is really, and this is on the business side as well, is that you're not exchanging money. You're not exchanging money for goods, or services for money, and so on. The new paradigm is, say, on the higher level, the spirit level, because that's that new paradigm. Everything is happening because of a spirit level. See, most of us say are connecting from a physical level to transcend into a spirit level. It just doesn't work that way. It hasn't worked that way since the dawn of man. That's the old paradigm. The new paradigm is that, yes, you awaken at a spirit level, at a much higher level than 99% that we are. Okay, the 1% that gratifies you here physically, because we're physical beings. That's part of our, say, spirit realm. We're physical beings. That is a gift to you in return. Creating, say, that 1%. If you add up all the money in the world, all the gold in the world, all the precious things in the world, all the density, as I call it, the planetary systems and so on, that is 1% of what's out there in this universe, including our spirit realm, and then that empty space. Excuse me, that empty space that we think is just empty. It's not. That's the other 99% that makes us up. So when you come from that level, right? Say giving people money, giving people absurd amounts of money in our realm. It doesn't even matter, because again, that's just less than one
I lost
percent.
you again.
But
Wait there. I
uh,
lost that last
um,
bit. Yeah. Okay. No. No. I get it. So let's
okay,
hold there for a
yeah,
moment. So in terms
sure.
of so in terms of so let's talk about that for a minute for people, because this is,
Mhm.
this is far out for a lot of people. Yeah, you have to
It
understand that
is. It is. Yes.
many people listening to this, many people listening to this conversation and so on. It's far out. So sometimes we
It
have to
is.
walk slow, dissect, bring it back. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you
Okay.
say 1% is the physical realm, everything is going on, because just so you know, I'm not the things that you call the finer things of life, they are not the
Mhm.
finer things of life in my realm. Yeah, that is
Of
like,
course.
the house and all that jazz. That
Sure.
that actually is low dense frequency of the distraction of what I believe people get caught up in. So what I'd love to hear from your
And we can
perspective is,
talk about that.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, we can. Let's talk about that. And also, whilst you talk about that, bring in a little bit around, describe for people listening what the 99% of what they can be connecting to in that abundance from the spirit realm, as you
Okay.
called it, really are.
Okay.
That would be nice, I feel,
Sure.
if you
So
like.
let's just put it point blank. Again, I work on individuals that have no money. Okay. Well, we donate a lot of our sessions and time and so on like that. And then I've worked on billionaires. Got some good number of people who billionaires, millionaires. Again, the higher scale of finances, let's say. Okay. Um, so in each in each person I see, they're really all the same. right? And even the people who are very poor, what do they, like I said, prostitute their lives for, right? To make enough money to feel good, although they stay away from money. They hate money, right? Well, why would
Right.
you do that? It doesn't make sense. It's like it's getting into that abusive relationship, which is not a good pattern. So what's the difference? These individuals say that don't have a lot of money, right? They always go, well, if I had X amount of money, all my problems will be solved.
Right.
And guys, I'm telling you, I work with these, and the reason why I'm telling you, not to show off, but the reason why I'm telling you guys, these millionaires and billionaires, they have the same exact problem that we do, right? And people who have, say, the perfect spouse, right? They have problems in other areas of their life, right? Physical, the people that are really, really healthy, right? They might not enjoy their health. So why is that? Why is it that, the abundance that we, I don't want to say argue about, but say shy away from or pull away from, um, that's not the answer that you're looking for in the first place, guys. It
Right.
really isn't. Um,
Right.
what is the one common denominator that I see in all the people that I work on, no matter where they are? Okay, is that their soul or their spirit. Okay, and again, I use it interchangeably because you guys use it
Yeah, go back, just go back a little bit. You said the one common denominator, and then we lost you. Continue
Okay.
there.
Okay. The one common denominator in everybody that I see, no matter what, say, social status they're in, okay, or where they are, is, or even at the intelligence level that they are, that the spirit is really, really lacking. Okay. When I do these events, Simon, I see everybody's spirits. I see that they're hungry for something that really wants or really needs to get fed. They haven't been fed. In since the dawn of time, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, no one has fed, say, their spirit. And that's what I do, is feed their spirit. Again, once your spirit gets fed, okay, and this is proof, thousands of people or tens of thousands of people that I work on, Simon, they don't go, oh, they always come to me physically, my back hurts, or I need money, or help me with cancer, whatever it is. uh, they don't come back. They don't come back going, oh, I mean, they come back, yes, they're cured, their physical, say, ailments are cured, or their finance ailments are cured, but that's not why they were here. They were actually here for me to, say, feed their spirits, because that's what needs quenching. Once their spirit is quenched, whatever level of income that you need, whatever level of, say, living style that you need, will naturally come into you for you to become abundant. And it does happen. I always ask people, I go, well, what did you do exactly to bring in, 100,000 a month or whatever they need? And they go, gosh, I don't know. Or what did you do to, say, strengthen, your bone structure? And they go, gosh, I don't know. What it just kind of came to me. They just feel a sense of well-being.
So are you saying? So you saying like? So first of all, share a few things that you feed the spirit. Because I mean, if I was to guess what you're feeding their spirit on, I'm going to throw some stuff out and you tell me if I'm touching it, right? So one is that they most of the spirits have lost connection with themselves, so they've lost that element
Yes,
of loving themselves. They don't love themselves. They've probably
true.
got a whole heap of grievances in the past, and like you said to me earlier, limited
Yes,
beliefs, or they're beating
yes.
themselves up, or they're like you said, like that my character might do, always trying to prove themselves, whatever,
Hmm.
they're in that
Yes,
lack mentality,
yes,
right?
yes.
So then when
Hmm.
you're feeding them, are you basically giving them like almost a mirror back to themselves? I mean, I know you're doing stuff on the holographic level, you're doing stuff on the
Yes.
on the spirit level, but are you
Hmm.
giving them a mirror back of like where they are actually getting their spirit sucked dry?
Yes. So a couple of ways I do that. One is that all communication happens way beyond the communication, whether you're here seeing me visually or words. Statistically, I would say about 97% of all the communication happens at spirit level or at a subconscious level. Okay. The other, say, let's say 90%. About 7% is body language, tonality, subconscious, things going on, and then less than 3% is the words. So at that 90%, you are tapping into me and identifying, say, who I am at a deeper level, at your spirit level, because that's what's needed. Okay, and we should talk about communication, because it'll
Yeah,
really open
please.
up, say, how we identify. So anyway, at that 90%, your spirit connects with me and sees who I am at a deeper level. Again, much purer, much solid, much more, say, complete. Okay, void of, say, anything physical here, whether I'm wealthy, whether I'm not wealthy, it doesn't matter. And this is the same, say, theories, or say parables, I guess, in Jesus's form. And again, nothing religious, but a fantastic man, a very learned man. That's what he was talking about. About talking, say, about money. It wasn't about the money, but getting your confidence or your completeness from money. It says always connect to God in his case, but I also say always connect to pure source, and then you'll be provided with whatever you need, right, at the level that you need it at. So that's what I feed them. So when you're tapping into me, you're actually seeing at a subconscious level, actually a reflection of who you are if you were, say, polished up without the baggage, because we're all the same underneath. We really are, say, very, very abundant individuals at a spirit level if we were completely awakened. So that's
Yeah, so you're
one.
saying, yeah, so
I'm a
from, so
reflection
go
of
on, go on.
yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
go on. No, carry on. Just before you jump onto the next one, because I want you to talk about what you're
Mhm.
about to say. So when,
Sure.
just to clarify for people
Mhm.
listening and for myself as well. So when you said earlier, spirit level stroke subconscious. So are you saying that in the
Yes.
subconscious mind, so-called subconscious mind, which is 90% of our programming, are you
Sure.
saying that that's more when we're communicating to the spirit aspect of ourselves? And when you say spirit, are you also talking about like the spirit of the being, right? The when somebody says he's in good spirits or high spirits, are you talking about the very
Uh,
life force that
I'm
runs
talking
through
the life
us?
force. The life force. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. When you're in
yeah,
good spirits and so on, that's just emotional,
yeah.
emotional
You're
stuff. But
talking
this
about
is like
you're talking about the
your
life
core.
force.
I call it your core or your blueprint level. Yes. And let's just talk about communication for a second, Simon,
Please,
and then we'll go on.
please.
So communication, and I'll give you a normal example, not a normal example, but a daily example that most people will associate with. Okay. And there was actually a study on this. Uh, there was a woman. Okay. She always attracted, say, abusive men. She'd get beat up. Okay, time after time after time. So they did a study. They put in a group of men. I don't think it was 100, but let's just say use 100. Okay, there's 100 men in this room. Okay, she's just supposed to randomly go around and see who she gets attracted to. There is just one man that has like an abusive pattern. Okay, within the whole room, she naturally gravitates to that one man. Okay, why does that happen?
Yeah,
Right?
why?
Why does that happen? Because there's patterns, like I was saying, patterns that have come through. And we don't have to get into the whys or so on, but it's usually, the family dynamics. I call it DNA structure, spiritual
Yeah, it's
DNA.
repetition. It's
Experiences.
repetition, right?
Yeah. So those patterns emanate in her, just like a radio frequency. They're sending out patterns of abuse me, abuse me, abuse me. You know, and then there's going to be that listener, that guy, that goes, wow, wow, I'm really attracted to her. I wonder why, you know? And then they go, oh, she wants to be abused. Same thing with you. No matter where you go, Simon, no matter who you are, no matter where you go, no matter what, say, country that you go to, that doesn't even speak the language that you do. If you go on another planet, they'll treat you the exact same way. Why? Because there's frequencies, again, that just say, treat me like this, treat me nice, treat me lucky, treat me happy, and so on. Other people are reading, well, abuse me, be mistrustful to me, and so on like that. And
Right,
well, you wonder why your life is the way it is. So those are the
right,
patterns, again, that really dominate the underlying frequencies.
right.
And just like, say, the money situation, we try to control that at a physical level by staying away from money, in those, say, good people that want to be good, right? It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. But once you delete that frequency, and I do this all the time, I delete that frequency of abuse for those, say, those people, because it's not just women that get abused, those people, and then they go, wow, you know, my friends and say family, that wasn't that great to me, they start to disappear from my life. And then you start attracting, say, that people, I call it organic relationships, that really say help them, say, enhance who they are. So
Yeah, because
again,
at that point they've changed their frequency. Yes, they at that point
exactly.
they've changed their frequency. And also, this is also something maybe for people listening, because there's lots of people doing this work in different ways, right? You've found the path to the way that you're doing it, but not everybody has to have a near death experience. Or go on, you've got an there. And
yeah, and there's a lot of people out there. Again, just make sure that they're, say, healing you from a pure source perspective. Okay, they're not distorted themselves. Okay? And again, we did a thing called a divine atrocity, which would be really good. And most people, from what I'm tapping in, okay, are really, say, from a physical perspective. They help transform people from at a physical level, and that's why the changes and transformations are actually, say, slower than what I do for most individuals. And again, I'm not touting my own horn, but that's just what it is. It is what it is for people, and that's why, say, the people that come to me just like grow exponentially. Really, I mean, we almost double every 3-4 months as the number of people that connect with us. That's how fast we grow, because it works.
so
Because we get.
before one sec, Matt. Sorry to jump in there.
Yeah, no worries.
Just to go along. So when you say that you're the only person that can do it on the planet at the moment, yeah, that you know of, when you got
I might not be the only person, because there's almost 7.5 billion people. But let's just say I'm the only, say, known person, if you will.
Well, what I was going to
Is that
say to
fair
you
to
is
say?
well, I don't know. What I was going to ask you was that when you initially this happened, right? You had the first death experience, you had the second death experience, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then obviously,
Yes.
or I'm assuming here, but you can tell me how it happened. But you thought, okay, I'm now seeing these energies. I can see people's spirits. I'm seeing this hologram. This is a bit crazy. Has anybody else done this? Did you think like, wow, does anybody else see this stuff? Can anybody else like tap in like
Yes.
this? And did you look at the lineage and just see if like who was doing it? Did you do any research?
On my lineage
Like what
or
I mean is like, yeah, what I
other
mean is, did
people?
you go, yeah,
Of
that's
course.
what I mean by the other people. Did you go, are they doing it like that? And, what did you do?
Of
What was your,
course. I actually did a lot of research because I couldn't believe, because I'm a computer programmer. I wasn't into, say, the spirituality. I didn't believe in, say, the dark side, or, all those things that, well, I talk about now. I never believed that. I thought life was here, right? And that's really about, obviously you believe in that heavenly space because, we're brought up in religion and so on like that. So always good and so on. But from I did do the research, but from most of my knowledge, or, say, information about, say, my abilities compared to other people's abilities, actually come from other people who have tried, so many things out there and so many people out there, and then they say, come back to me, and they go, wow, you're very, very different than anybody I've met. And, you hear that over and over and over. So this is really about feedback that I've gotten in my own self. So actually, I don't believe some of the transformations that happen with the work that I do myself. And we get tons and tons of testimonials. Again, I'm that computer programmer, that always needs, say, feedback, right? Because if a line of code doesn't work, your whole programming doesn't work. So you always need that feedback on where you are.
and has anybody come back and said to you that program hasn't worked and you've had to do it again, or they've just been like, no, that's just not sunk with me?
No, because at the level that I change you at, that program, say, does change you. Some people like, what happens is they go through a level of detox where they might need a little more because, one, through fear, right, through severe fear, or control, or being controlled, right, it takes them a little longer. So say 1 session or 2 sessions, kind of opens them up, and they get into a dark place. And the reason why they get into a dark place, because they're cleaning out all the baggage. Some people, and this is statistics, 30 to 40% leave, like their lives just kind of transform on the good side. Like you'll just like learn and expand more. The other 30, 40%, what'll happen is like, well, Simon, you go, and this is the way spirit does it. Spirit does it so efficiently. It doesn't care about your ego. It doesn't care about your wants or desires. It just wants to get you to your most abundant level, the most efficient way possible. So your spirit goes, you have to do X, Y, and Z to get to where you want, right? That abundance phase. And then that 30, 40% who have, say, issues or detox symptoms, they go, well, I want to do a little bit of X, and then I want to do something else, and then I want to do Z. I'm going to do it my way, right? Or they hold on to the baggage, and it's like, why did this happen to me? Why is this like this? And they take longer. That's just their rule set. There's nothing wrong with that, but it takes you guys longer.
Yeah, it takes longer, and different people heal in their own time, right?
Yes.
Two things, because I know we've probably got to come to a close, and I'm mindful of your time. You're traveling to the island tomorrow in the UK,
yes.
So I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you jumping on.
Oh,
today.
No worries. It's been a good conversation. I like it.
So two little things pop up. One is like I see that you said you were a computer programmer however many years ago, and then I had the same thing. I mean, I was a criminal, and I was striving to be an actor, and I was going for being a famous actor. And, it's like I was, on drugs and drinking alcohol and a hedonistic lifestyle and trying to sleep with as many women as possible, right? So
that's the groin area issues that I was tapping into. Okay.
Well, please tap in and release them.
That's what I was like. Yeah, that's what I was clearing out. I didn't know the details, but okay.
So let me give just to give you a little insight into that. So I was in that criminal world, and very destructive. I was a liar, and then I went on this path of like wanting to be truth and transparency and wanting to like come out of the fear and finally, thankfully, through no choice of my own, found myself in the in this space of love, and then sort of like you said, saw this dark side. So my question to you as we close this sort of conversation, my question to you is that the spirit, if the spirit knows that it wants abundance, and the spirit's like, doing this work now, we're moving into this time, I guess it's not about knowing the answer, but why do you feel so many human beings at this time in our existence, so many are living dead, and you said it beautifully, prostituting themselves out to you could say the dark energy. And also just within that question, I'd like you to move into, just as we close the conversation, because I may not get to speak to you again, is that I'd love you just to bring that into death, and how, because you've had 2 near-death experiences. So when so many people are scared, they are in terror of dying, in terror of change. So I'd love you just to drop into that.
Sure. So the first, why do so many people say prostitute themselves, and they do prostitute themselves? Because they, at some level, one, especially if you say really, really, say, really wealthy, or say a lot of people have, say, intuitive abilities. Sometimes to get those intuitive abilities, again, they've sold their, say, spirit to, and not them specifically, but somebody in their upper family tree, right? Sold them, their souls or spirits to the devil. So whoever down line gets affected, just automatically, you're under that contract. And that's why, the Kennedys, multiple deaths, heinous deaths, strange things happen to them, right? That's just one, say, wealthy family that have sold themselves. But people do it for a lot less money, Simon. They do it for a lot less fame. They do a lot less fortune, right? They sell themselves. So that's one reason why, and they can't get out of that contract. 2, the patterns that happen, and this is a quick story, but this woman, she's had like 3 or 4 abortions, and she's very sad with it. She abuses herself because of it. I tap into her, to release the frequencies. I go, whoa, your mother has had 3 or 4 abortions. She goes, yeah. And then I tap into her grandmother. It's like, your grandmother has had like 4 or 5 abortions. And she goes, yeah, and then it releases that knowing that it's not your fault. It's a pattern that runs in your family dynamics. This is an extreme example. And then people say, abuse themselves, or go, God, why am I not good enough? Why am I this way? Right? But the deal is, guys, most of the things that you've done are of that 1%, that physical, say, physicalness of trying to change your behavior patterns, trying to change who you date, trying to change the money status, whatever it is. It's not about that, guys. It's the patterns that run underneath. If you can say change that completely, your life totally transforms in a short
Right.
period of time. But most people can't get into, say, that back end programming or the source code to really say change their patterns, change their life.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what I do. So that's why they get stuck. And then in this transition that's happening is that people get aware that they're stuck, which is really good, because then it gives them more power to find, say,
Yeah.
how to get unstuck, right?
Yeah, then they
And
meet people, then they can meet people and other people, and they can start to actually seek out ways to unstick them. And then this is why you
yes,
can get instant healing, you can cure disease,
exactly.
you can move out
Oh,
of
you can
different
cure
places.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
because your spirit, once awakened, again, doesn't want to be distorted, right?
right,
So it creates that abundance where it is in physical form, because that's what it's really all about. That's the only purpose in life here, guys, is to live from spirit level in physical form, right? And it's a big, big, say, experiment to do.
it's a
But
big
anyway,
ask. It's a big
uh,
ask.
yeah, uh, but the death space, and this is interestingly, a near death is one of the quickest ways, say, to connect. Okay, although there's other ways to do it, but this is what I've been finding out, Simon, which is really kind of cool. Say I work on people. Okay, I've
Yeah,
worked on these individuals. They want to ascend higher. They're at the level, so they're groomed. That's the key, guys. You have to be groomed to have a near-death experience, because there's, well, just in the States here, over 800 near-death experiences documented a day. There's not a lot of people in the U.S. like me. Why? Because they haven't been groomed. So people I work on, they get awakened, right? They get to a certain level where they're ready. It's interesting. They'll have like an accident, or they'll randomly, something will happen to them where they'll go under anesthesia, which mimics a near-death
right,
experience, right? They
right,
separate, they separate, because it's a way of separation. They separate like that. They come back, and their life, say, transforms even faster. So again, that's talking more about near-death as we end. Not near-death, but death in our society, Simon. Death is not, it's really a growing, death is really a beauty space, because you can walk in and see, say, the beauty that you are. But well, I don't know how they do it, in the UK and so on, but in the US, we get old, and then they put people on drugs, right? Because they're under pain. Their spirits is dead anyway. I call that a time loop. And that's how, again, we get distorted. Their spirits are gone. They don't know where it is. And then they get stuck in purgatory, if you want to use that religious term, because they don't know where they are. The Tibetans, the Egyptians, and so on, they prepared people for death. So as they say, crossed over, they became aware of who they were at spirit level, not the identity. They don't pull the identity of who they are physically into spirit form. That's really one of the main reasons of distortion. We bring in the
wow.
the
Love that.
junk and crap here into spirit form, and then we create from that junk back into our life, when we come back around the next time, and we wonder, it's like, wow, how did that pattern happen? you
I
know
love that. I love that so much,
so
and I love what you said about the beauty. I love what you said about the beauty of
yes.
the beauty of death, right?
Oh, of course. Once you really understand it, once, and although I didn't say mention it straight out, it's really, say, time. If you are, say, so present, everything becomes abundant for you, guys. Everything that you need, the people, the places, the things, anything that you need, just becomes abundant for you naturally. Uh, so it's really a time distortion that happens for most people, and that's why they're stuck in the way they are. Death actually opens us up. Wow, what a beautiful space. Death opens us up to see that beauty that's out there. Wow, so
Yeah, and
gorgeous.
I love how you say that, because as you said that, I just wanted to show the viewers the sunset as it was going down.
Oh, so beautiful. What a way to close out, huh, Simon?
Yeah, I Listen, I didn't want to stop you. I'm just super mindful that the light was dropping here, and I'm also super mindful of your time. But
no
you know
worries.
listen, what you just said there was so so beautiful, because like you just said something like, when you're present, when you're here now, when you see that death is actually part of the illusion as well, right? You actually,
Yes.
that's a connection to the full abundance, right?
Yes,
That's like
exactly.
super powerful.
Yes,
And
exactly.
what's wonderful about you sharing that is that, you've actually had those, the two near-death experiences. But I guess
Yes.
that's where most people are so frightened to go, yet
Hmm.
yet you've been there, come back, and now you can actually share these gifts so
It
that
is
others
the
can
most
die.
beautiful
So
thing.
yes, and also so you can, let's die now in the physical so we can live
It's
now, right?
so true. That is so true. That is exactly what it is.
I love that so
Let's
much.
die now and see who we truly are so we can live from it, right?
Right. Beautiful. Wow. Mas, is there anything other than, I hope you've healed my groin situation, and anything else that I've got trouble with?
You'll see later on today. You'll see later on
Okay.
today, Simon, really a new identity or a new awareness coming into you. And I worked on your mother as well, so hopefully
Beautiful.
she'll
Thank
be
you.
feeling better. You guys
And
tend to see things much easier.
is
Um,
yeah, go on, go on. You was going to say something. And other than that, is there anything you'd like to share to the viewers that are watching, anyone that's out there, or anything that you're feeling, just to close the conversation?
Sure. Well, if you want to see more of me, again, I'll be in London, Ireland. Go to my website. I don't know. I know it's
Yeah,
May
it's
4th
underneath the
through
video.
whatever. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to do more of that, um, um, the podcasts, again, they're free. It really gets into the details of, say, the whys of life. Okay, and really how to have it all, because you can have it all in here at physical form,
And
and be
what that
good.
means for each individual, right? What that means for each
Yes,
person.
exactly,
Because having it
exactly.
all also is different for each individual that you meet. Am I right in saying that,
Of
Mass? Or
course,
is it like
of
with,
course,
yeah?
of course. Whatever you need, right? Whatever you need to feel abundant,
Yeah.
it's there for you. So exactly,
Wow. Listen,
exactly.
I got up. Listen, I've enjoyed this dance, Mass.
Oh, thank you so much. Me too. I
Yeah.
like it.
I mean,
I loved
yeah,
it.
yeah. I enjoyed you showing up, and I enjoyed you
Thanks.
dancing with me. And I know it was spontaneous, but who knows? I mean, listen, we're sending good energy out from this video,
Of
and
course.
I hope your tour goes well, and people can look at the link below this video to see your website. They can explore you further. They can
Okay.
send questions,
Fantastic.
etc. And other than that, we may cross paths again. But if not, I'm
Of
sure
course. I'm
we'll
sure we will.
communicate. We'll be communicating on some level, even if it's on the spirit level, right?
Yes, that's true. I'm sure we'll cross paths again from what I'm seeing. Yeah, we'll be around.
Super.
All right,
Okay,
my
Mas.
friend.
Well, listen, have a great time in
You
Europe,
too.
and all the
You
best.
too.
Okay.
You take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Okay, there you go, people. Another Simon on the sofa. I'm just absorbing the sunset as we dip. That was a spontaneous one. As you could feel, there was, I'm really happy that I decided to move through my initial resistance, and Kaylee contacted me spontaneously today, and I got to speak to Mass, because no matter how we're communicating this transformation that's going to take place within, no matter which way it's coming from, each person that I'm meeting, each person that I'm connecting with, they're talking about getting to the deep rooted, subconscious, limiting beliefs. Yeah. Whether you hear me talk about the pain body, whether you hear people talking about going into the wounds, whether you need to go back into this prostituting yourself, whatever, you see how it's all coming from that dense, dark, um, as I spoke with Lilia just the other day on the sofa, we are able now to bring awareness into programming ourselves. That's what I've been doing for so many years. I started with positive thinking. And then it was like, okay, then it's like positive thinking, subconscious programming, how to do that, 30-day manifesting, thinking, a belief, thoughts, feelings, actions, be, do, have, changing that around, it's like, so This has been a constant reprogramming for me for however many years, so many years. And now you're hearing different people want to do it, you know, quicker, faster, so be it. But either way, you can fall in love with yourself, love this whole phenomenal existence, and transcend this dense identity. It's here. It's happening. It's phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for following Simon on the Sofa. Thank you to my patrons. Deep gratitude to you all. Thank you to all, every single being that's ever existed that's led us to where we are today. Thank you for all you beautiful beings out there, and sending big love out to all those that maybe are seeking to free themselves from the clutches of the invisible prison, and know that there are many people out there that are serving the greater good, serving love, serving the divine, serving source, whatever you want to call it. And we are writing a new story of humanity. It's happening. It's writing us, God damn it. What do you mean? It's like, it's not about one person saying it's me. It's about that collectively there is a phenomenal emergence, if you will. It's just amazing. I don't even want to put words in it. Words limit it. No limits. Woo! Take care. Thank you. All the best. Head over to that beautiful place if you feel the need to. Support these videos, support these conversations. Love. To love yourself and communicate transparently is a revolutionary act. Let's do this. It's more simple than you believe. Simplicity is divinity. Change your frequency, change your life. Boom!